All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back, leave me alone.
What's up, guys? Welcome into episode 69 of the Missed Call podcast. On today's episode, we have
Whoa.
former guests Sinclaire Miramontez and Jenna Gray. Big ass episode. Whole lot
Huge.
of fun. Humongous.
It's the Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas, guys. From the Cowboys to you. We love you guys. It's been a big year for us.
Yeah, and well, let's say this. It's supposed to be, to say happy holidays to include everybody. But we all know that there's one event each year that everybody shares, and it's pretty big in America. So this show is dedicated to that, and that's Toyotathon.
This is the inclusive podcast. Whatever you celebrate,
Toyotathon.
Whatever you celebrate, that's fine. But make sure you celebrate Toyotathon.
Yeah, well, I just think it's funny because I was talking at work the other day with a customer who was like, don't say happy holidays because it's Merry Christmas around here. There's only one holiday that matters. And I was like, oh, that's fun. So I started off with a little jokey joke for episode 69. Nice. We decided to go with episode 69, fill the void that has been left so many episodes ago. We never did an episode 69. We skipped it for, I guess, a very special guest. And what better way to do it than with Sinclaire and with Jenna as well. We're very excited with this interview. It was so much fun. I would recommend you go back and listen to episode 98 and 96 before you listen to this one, or maybe after, regardless, for your listening pleasure.
I mean, if you want to see the improvement of the podcast, listen to this first, then go back and be like, wow, these guys have come a long way since May.
Sure. Yeah. And we have, but make sure that you listen to all of those because this is great. But let's do segments before we get to the interview. Cub, with Christmas coming, hopefully some of these have some follow that theme. But what's grinding your gears?
Okay, this really pissed me off yesterday. Now, we're both 24. Our friends are either 22, 21. They're
around the same age.
They're in their 20s. When was the last time you had somebody's relationship just piss you off because of the stuff they did on social media where they're like, can you please? No one cares. Quite some time, I would assume.
Yeah.
So there's a couple that I follow, I guess, because I follow one of them on social media and Snapchat. Buddy posted his girlfriend's grades on his Snapchat story.
Okay.
Said, hopefully he watches this so he can stop with this bull. I'm not going to say his name. It said, Corona ain't going to stop my girl.
Uh-huh.
Good job, baby. Now,
listen.
Why am I pissed? Because of one reason and one reason only. Either she told him to post this or his ass goes, babe, let me get your grades. I'll put it on my story.
Well, so I will give this person, I'll play devil's advocate for this person and say that sometimes people date women who have a little bit more maintenance to them. They need to be told that they are loved more frequently than others, right? Which maybe I shouldn't qualify as maintenance, but still, that was probably a situation where he was going out of his way to say, I love you. And I'm only trying to play devil's advocate here. But that's probably something that I would very quickly click off of as well. See, I can do the words.
Sauce. I have yet to do this to anybody in my life. Give me your fucking man card. Jesus Christ. Not you, him.
Maybe.
Give me your goddamn man card. I'm Joe Buck. Give me your man card.
I'm trying to think of that the man card moment because no, that's some simp shit. Give me your man card. We don't do simping on this podcast.
We respect the hell out of women, but I ain't gonna simp for one.
I ain't simping for shit. Okay, grinding gears. It's been all over the roads. If you haven't seen it yet, then good for you. But the reindeer nose, like the Rudolph nose and antlers that people put on their car make me want to drive into their car.
Hey, I don't mean to
I
cut
don't
you off.
know. It just
I don't.
seems
I don't mean to cut you off because I wouldn't allow you to cut me off. But that's fine, say for this week. What's worse is when it's motherfucking February.
yes, and maybe they forgot about the nose.
Come on. Oh,
I don't.
things have been
This
so
week it's
busy.
this week it's not bad, but like for ever, like if you're doing it since Thanksgiving, fuck off. I mean, at least to me anyway. It seems like that's kind of the situation. It's like fuck off. And yeah, that's what's grinding my gears this week. Every time I see it, it makes me really, really, really roll my eyes hard. But let's switch for just a second. Let's talk about the best things that we've seen this week. Let's turn that frown upside down. Cub, what's the best? What's the best thing you've seen this week?
Best transition we've ever had. It's about smiles.
Oh,
Mitch Trubisky. I saw him smile this past Sunday. That boy's having fun.
yes. Yes. I mean, we can take this next couple minutes to talk about the Bears and the fact that they have an opportunity now to make the playoffs. They beat the Vikings. They've put up 30 points in 3 straight weeks for the first time, I think, since 2012, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. And between the years 2014 and 2019, the Bears had 9 games in which they put up 30 points or more. 4 of those came in 2018 when they had the 12-4 season, and it was ended in the playoffs with a double doink. In the past 3 weeks, they have 3 of those games. So something's happening on offense for sure. Yes, you can obviously point to the fact that they've played some bad defenses, but this is an offense that even against bad defenses couldn't figure out how to move the ball in weeks 5 through 12 or 5 through 13, regardless. Things are happening for the Bears on offense right now, and it's really good. They figured out how to run the ball. The game against the Vikings was palatable, and it was good football to watch, I thought.
Not to be a cornball, but the Bears have this old Steelers juju.
In a way, right? Well, and they're beating bad teams. They're beating them handedly. They're making people think that things are different. The Steelers are the biggest frauds in the NFL, possibly the biggest frauds that we've ever seen in the NFL in any season ever. I'll go out there and say that. But coming back to the Bears, it is a little concerning that the defense has regressed some in the past 3 weeks with the offense taking off. That is cause for concern. They did get walked down the field on a leash a couple times against the Vikings, which is concerning. But it's kind of a bizarro world situation that the Bears were able to win a game with their offense. But they'll play a lowly Jaguars team on Sunday. If they can beat them, they will look for a Week 17 matchup against the Packers, who could possibly be resting their starters. But that's all in the future. Let's stay in the present. Cub, I will agree with you. Mitch has a pretty charming smile, and it was great to see it come out on Sunday. Because
and it was through the helmet.
Right.
On the field.
Right. And when he's having fun out there, when he doesn't look stressed or like he's seeing ghosts, that's always a good thing for the Bears and for any team, really, if their quarterback's in that situation. So, yes, Mitch Trubisky's smile was something good to see. Pause. And play. So for me, kind of off the beaten track of sports, but The Mandalorian wrapped up. Mandalorian season 2 wrapped up last week, and I know this will put you to sleep, but it was a thrilling episode, really. No spoilers, but the end of the episode, there was a very important figure, and a figure, Cub, that I would assume even you could name the person who showed up.
Obi-Wan?
At the Obi-Wan, but better.
Yoda?
Luke Skywalker appeared.
That little rascal puke.
Yes, and it was a really, really cool episode, and it was one of the highest rated streaming episodes ever, especially for Disney Plus. So it was awesome. Then we got to see at the end of that episode the fact that they're going to do an additional series called The Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett cub you don't know was a.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Are you familiar with Boba Fett?
Yes, he's
Not
the
a
guy.
true.
He's not Jango Fett. He's Boba Fett.
Right. He is the clone that Jango Fett chose as his son, and Boba Fett turned into essentially a Mandalorian. So not necessarily a true Mandalorian, but still wears the armor and all of that. And there will be a series, a spin-off series for him coming in 2021 that I'm very excited for. The whole slate for 2021 for Disney is really cool. I think they've got stuff coming out in Marvel, in Star Wars, and there's another live action movie that they have coming out too. So Disney and Disney Plus has a ton of stuff coming out soon that I'm really, really excited for. Um, Moving on, and I will be right back. I'm gonna go get my candle.
And while Sauce is getting his candle, I will set the mood.
It's time for thoughts and prayers.
In the
Go ahead, set the mood.
In the arms of the angel. Dude, the Zoom call literally started. A little thing came down. It said music playing. I did that. Fly away. All right. Thoughts and prayers.
Hold on, I'm trying to light the third. There we go. Okay, we're ready to go. The candle is lit. Thoughts and prayers. Here we go.
The Jets.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers to the New York Jets.
Football Jets.
Football Jets. You saw I was about to say that. The football
Yes.
Jets. All you had to do was lose. all you had to do to lose was lose and get the best quarterback prospect you've seen in forever. They're comparing Trevor Lawrence to Andrew Luck. And you go out and beat the Rams. First of all, the Rams, frauds.
Here's the thing. I don't know that's necessarily true.
I don't care. I hate the Rams now. I can't stand them because I don't know if they're good or bad. And then I don't know what to do when I want to put money on their games.
The Rams are a good team. I wouldn't bet on them next week against the Seahawks, but the Rams are a good team. Super bizarro weekend, really a week in sports. When you think about the Jets taking out the Rams, and then last night, Monday Night Football, the Bengals take out the Steelers. It's just a crazy world that we live in. I kind of thought that this was a weekend that was set up for, well, really bizarre outcomes. There were some really good matchups and some ones where, this could be a letdown week for a couple different teams. I never thought the Jets would be a part of that, but lo and behold, they were. And now they went from holding I think it was the 99% chance of getting the number one pick without winning a game. Obviously, it might've been 100% chance, to be honest, but now they drop from that all the way down to like 32% of getting the number one overall pick. The Jaguars would have to beat one of the next two teams, and the Jets would have to lose out in order for the Jets to regain control of the number one pick.
So the Jets play next week, the Browns, and then the Patriots. Then the Jaguars play, obviously, the Bears this coming Sunday, and then the week after they play the Colts. And Phillip Rivers is not going to hold back. They're trying to get in the playoffs. They're trying to win the AFC South, the South. It's just confusing because they're in Indiana. And
the Jaguars, you could feasibly see the Jaguars are going to probably pack it up at this point and just say, please beat us by all the points.
Pack it up, Duval. We're getting the number one pick.
Yes. So thoughts and prayers to the city of New York and especially the New York Football Jets. Also, thoughts and prayers go out to Juju Smith-Schuster, his dancing on opponents' logos at midfield finally caught up to him. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't have an issue with him dancing on the logos. I think it's the same kind of a situation where people are yelling about bat flips. I don't have a problem with it. But you better be able to back it up all the time if you're going to do that. And he got absolutely lit up against the Bengals, had an awful game, and really, I think, paid the price for doing what he did. But thoughts and prayers, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Dude has the biggest target on his back in the NFL. And then his little TikTok. Fun fact, he has more TikToks put out this season than he has in
receptions.
Receptions?
Or no.
It's receiving yards
No,
per
yards
game.
in a game.
Yeah,
Yards in a game.
He's got like 96 videos and 93 is his like highest receiving yards per
Yards
game.
in a game this year. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Struggle Bus Fake Taxi, quickly, Cub, shoot yours off.
Struggle Bus. It's myself, and
I can put the candle down now. Thank
God.
I
say that because I've been trying to get these pants for a special occasion. So I bought plaid pants. Okay. I've been trying to pull them off. I haven't even had a pair that look good on me. And I've started this order back before Thanksgiving. First order never came. So we had to cancel the order. Second order came in as soon as I got back from Florida. Then it fit right. So I ordered again, a different pair. And I ordered them last Monday. I have yet to receive the shipping, like that it's been shipped. Hold on.
This is 2 ambulances in a 10-minute span. That might be a new record for the podcast.
Okay.
But the pants don't fit. You can't get the pants. They won't get sent back to you.
I ordered a new order of pants, and they haven't been shipped. But like a few days later, I ordered another thing off Zara. I got them yesterday. I don't want to be a Karen. I don't want to be a Karen. But wear these pants. Wear these pants.
Right.
Do I call? My predicament is
No. Let's go cause a ruckus on social media and get Zara to give you these pants. Let's skull fuck them on social media as we do for the members of the Thick Athlete Society.
This is for the fashion society that I promote. Like do I call Zara and be like, hey, am I gonna get these pants? Or do I wait because it's the holiday season and no one's getting anything these days because of COVID?
I think it's kind of a little bit of both. I think you should do a courtesy call and see what's going on, but also like I've got stuff too that I've ordered and it's not going to be here for Christmas because
and it said they would be here.
Everybody's doing online shopping.
Yeah, and it said they were supposed to be here Monday, didn't?
And they're not.
It's just my luck, dude.
Let's skull fuck them on social media.
I just want to look good for Christmas. That's all.
Sure. That understandable. I get it. Struggle Bus is kind of a me situation too, in the fact that I finally had a parlay hit, Cub. Finally, the parlay hit, and I was so excited about it until a friend of mine pointed out to me that I don't win the full amount of money that was in my I don't win the full amount of money that was going to be allowed to me because the fucking Chiefs and Saints pushed. I had football team plus 6.5, Bears money line, Bills -5, and the Patriots and Dolphins under 41.5. All of that hit. And because the fucking Chiefs and Saints pushed at -3, I only got half of the money I was owed.
How? I usually get all mine, I feel like. I haven't had a push in a while,
it's because they pushed. So Struggle Bus me because I was riding high. I was telling everybody I won $30, and then it was actually Jack Coachman, a friend of mine, who was like, no, you didn't. So Struggle Bus goes to me. Fake taxi is a consensus fake taxi because America might be back to sucking and fucking very soon because the coronavirus vaccine is starting to be distributed to only important people, which isn't us and probably isn't you either listening. But maybe someday soon we'll all get the coronavirus vaccine and then we can get back to sucking and fucking in the streets as proper Americans.
This is such a vulgar podcast.
It is, and then it's funny when we have on guests when we're like, can't swear. But okay, that was Struggle Bus Fake Taxi. Let's pause for a second while I pull up these Tinder bios, and then we'll get rolling with that.
Now, for those that don't know, I'm a very sad single man. If you have a friend that's almost 6 feet tall, hit my DMs. Sauce, let's go.
Cub likes to fuck the hole in his couch. So we're trying to pair him up.
You have a hole in my couch.
I know you do. And right now we're trying to pair him up with somebody who is better than just the hole in his couch. All right. Up First, we have Lynette, who is 24. She is a woman, and it
Good.
says so right here.
Good.
Lynette says, "Hi, I'm a Bama girl, but I'm just from there. I'm not actually a country girl. I'm cat sitting here in Chicago for the holidays. Let's get high so you can show me where to get some dank ass food. Oh yeah, I'm I'm about as left as they come." I mean, it's all in basically in abbreviations. About is spelled AB. She says, "Oh yeah, I'm about as left as they come. No bootlickers, please."
Oh my goodness.
Thoughts?
Now those are duck boots.
Ah.
Those don't count. Those don't count.
Cub, just lick the boot. Lick another boot, Cub.
Well,
Keep licking shoes for the rest of this. Okay. Those aren't really convincing licks. Could you do it again?
No, I'm not gonna lick my shoes. I live in Chicago.
Okay. What do we say about Lynette?
She's obviously an extremist when it comes to politics, and if you're any normal human being, you can't stand extremists. And she's as left as they come.
Does it intrigue you at all that some of her cleavage is showing in her profile picture?
How great is that personality, Sauce? You can only do so much.
I'm only offering you what I can see.
You can only do so much. I would rather hold a conversation than have boobs, I guess.
Okay, don't rule out Lynette just yet because we have two more profiles to go. Up next is Haley, who's 24, and there's no additional information about Haley other than her bio, which says, "I'm really good at breaking blinds. So if you need your blinds broken, I'm your guy."
Can you tell me what that means?
No idea. Maybe she's making a sexual reference.
That's what I was trying to figure out. What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm pretty good at deciphering some of this shit. It doesn't make any sense. I'm really good at breaking blinds. So if you need your blinds broken, I'm your guy.
Let's Urban Dictionary real quick.
Breaking blinds.
Oop, I put urban. Pulling the blinds. That's honey, next time you are pulling the blinds, don't pull so hard.
Let's do this. Let's go ahead and just
She's
say
out.
Haley probably isn't that interesting. Lastly,
she's destructive. I don't want
lastly,
her.
we have a very this is fun. But Alex Lore is this person's name. She's a very fit person. Her profile picture is taken in a gym sitting on a treadmill. But she says, "I'm looking for a guy who will eat me like a zombie. No leftovers either. At least 2 times a week. If you think you can handle me, follow me." And then she links her Instagram, which we don't do here. But that's appealing. No?
That's appealing. No?
Right? Wouldn't you want to eat her like a zombie with no leftovers?
It's me I'm like uncomfortable by that. That means like going off that, I would just assume that she's very aggressive. She gives me those vibes.
Maybe she does. It seems she has a mean tricep muscle, which I don't know if that contributes to her aggression, but possibly.
Is it meaner than
more
that?
More for you to eat if you do leave
more to
no
nibble
leftovers.
on. More to nibble.
More to nibble on. Exactly.
So
let's do this. Between Alex Lore, between Haley, and between Lynette, you got to take one. Who are you taking?
Can you read the first one's bio one more time?
Lynette's.
Uh-huh.
Remember that Lynette is from Alabama, but she's not a country girl. She's cat sitting in Chicago for the holidays. She wants to get high and have you show her some dank ass food. And remember that she's also an extremist in the fact that she is as far left as they come and does not prefer bootlickers.
You know what? Sauce. This is a Christmas episode, Sauce.
You've licked boots though, so be careful here.
Sauce. This is the Christmas episode. I think I
And
would be
the season of giving.
I would be doing a disservice to number 3 if I didn't, whatever her name was,
Alex Lore.
Alex Lore, if I didn't
give her
that
an
zombie,
orgasm.
Give her that zombie
orgasm.
she's looking for.
Tremendous. Thank you, Cub, for sticking with
the holiday spirit.
Took us a while to get there. We drove down a very winding road, but we got to the point we needed to get to, which is that you are going to find Alex Lore and swipe right on her and eat her like the zombie that you are. This is great. Okay. That being said, Cub's gonna do that. I'll wrap up the show. This is the Christmas episode. Again, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays. We love you guys. Thank you for sticking with us through all the thick and thin and thickness, whatever it is. Thanks for being there for us.
Thick.
Right. We're going to get to the interview in just a second. Reminder, though, follow us at Call Podcast on all platforms. I am Life of Sartori on Twitter and Sauce Sartori on Instagram. You can find Cub on Instagram at 3Colby. 2.
No,
3 Colby. No.
Wait, sorry. I'll do it. On Twitter, just type in Cub Wood, put a space. I'll most likely come up. If not, it's at C_MARCHIO2. Instagram at 3COLBY. And hey, great interview coming up.
Yes. So let's get to it. Jenna Gray, Sinclaire Miramontez, childhood friends, but both are successful professional athletes. So let's get to that right now. Again, happy holidays. We're out of here.
And now welcoming on 2 former guests, Sinclaire Miramontez and Jenna Gray. Oh, this is going to be something special, guys.
We're so excited to have you guys back on. Our most listened to episode, our most listened to guest, Jenna Gray, and our first lady of thickness, Sinclaire Miramontez.
True.
Which is, it's crazy. And you're the only girl in the Thick Athletes Society.
I'm so honored. I know Jenna was hurt. She didn't get a bid. But I am incredibly honored. I actually was going to ask if I did get an official bid, because I remember we talked about it on the podcast, but it was like, maybe we should give her a bid. I didn't know if it was official.
Oh, so we did that in like May. So March is coming up. You will be on the graphic for Thick Athlete Society. We'll just put a little crown on you.
This is the best day ever. Well, I guess like if I'm going to be Thick Athlete Society, then I guess I should probably rep the brand.
Oh, that's a nice hoodie. That's a nice hoodie.
Jenna, where's yours?
I like how though, like if I like slouch, it looks like I'm also like.
I was thinking that when you got it, I was like, dang it, she wore a black hoodie. She's gonna look like she's repping the brand.
If you slouch, it looks like we have Nike hoodies. So go ahead and slouch a little bit.
All right. No, you guys aren't getting the Nike clout. You guys aren't getting the Nike clout.
We don't want it. We don't want it. We got our own brand. We got our own Southside Chicago brand.
This is going to be blissful chaos, and I'm so excited for it. Now, both of you have started your professional careers. Sinclaire, you with the NC Courage, and Jenna, you with the German
Dresdner SC. Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
There that is. Okay.
The German chocolate team. Yeah. Okay.
That's where I want to start. Jenna, and I'll ask you first. Professional volleyball, I would assume it's going well for you. Let's talk about on the court stuff first. How's it going?
It's been good so far. We actually we had a match last night, and that was the first half of our season. So now we're getting into the second half. It's been good so far. It's like whenever I try to compare the level of play to college, it's almost like impossible just because the rules are different. And like the only big change is like the type of ball, and then there's no like defensive specialist, so there's just like less substitutions in professional volleyball, but it changes the game like so much. So outside hitters are just more like ball control, and they can play really good defense, like everything like that, but you don't have as many girls that are just whacking balls at you. So in that way, like my face is a little bit safer than getting hit at by Catherine Plummer every day, but rallies are long and it's super fast, like really fast volleyball, fast tempo, fast pace, but it's been good, adjusting well. We have no fans. We can't do that. We're on lockdown. So it's been interesting, like playing in pretty empty, silent gyms, just with like loud European EDM music, like playing in between points.
Have you adjusted well to German trash talk?
There really is not any trash talk. Everyone's very, very friendly. I started this last week on the court saying, "Let's go" in German. Auf geht's, auf geht's.
Hey.
I get nervous every time I say it because I feel like my teammates are gonna hear me and start giggling. So like I say it kind of quietly, but I'm starting to get some of the lingo down. German is such a hard language. Like I can't make half of the sounds. So, but yeah, it's been good so far. Yeah.
Well, I know one German phrase, and I believe it's correct if I say Backpfeifengeschichte, which is a phrase that means a face in need of a fist.
Jenna's gonna be like, "Can you write that down?"
Yeah, no, really.
I'm gonna practice that
practice
later.
that.
Like the sad part is the words that I know are like food, just from going to the grocery store, and then like honestly random, like I know the word squirrel, like they'll teach me random words, and then
Which is
of course
food,
like
which can be food.
Squirrel is a very important word to know.
Yep.
Very
And
important.
then
People forget that.
just like cuss
Oh my
words
God.
too. So like, because of course they think it's hilarious, like when they teach us bad things to say and we say it and we have no idea like what we're actually saying. So my vocabulary is really covers everything you need to have when you're traveling abroad. You know?
I would assume you could probably say that fucking squirrel looks like food.
Honestly, I can only say squirrel, and I can't even pronounce it. I can't. The only reason why I
can't
know it is
pronounce
because it's so hard to pronounce. It's like Eichhorchen. That's two of the sounds I can't say.
Hey, she's almost bilingual, and I'm almost
Great.
able to understand the English language. Jenna, I want to know what has been your biggest adjustment since moving to Germany?
I mean, the biggest thing is like the volleyball part. It's just like I know that I can do that. I did that every day back home. But it's living in a different country and like especially with Corona and lockdown, having so much free time and like I don't know, sometimes being lonely too. I'm really lucky that Morgan is in the apartment below me, and like we are friends with some of the guys in his basketball team out here and stuff, but like now we're locked down, you can't have gatherings more than 10 people. My normal schedule is like I have 1 to 2 practices every day, so I think volleyball takes up I don't know, anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours every day, but then the rest of that is like my time. But right now I can only go to the grocery store in my apartment, so it's trying to figure out ways to stay entertained and not go completely crazy right now in my apartment.
Have you tried Animal Crossing?
The thing is, I should keep a running list of like the amount of impulse buys. I almost bought a cat. I almost bought an exotic cat.
An exotic
I'm not kidding.
cat or just a cat?
We got an exotic cat. Like I was
did.
gonna drop like a lot of euros on it. It was like
Jenna
have you
messaged
guys
me
ever
about
seen
it.
yeah, have you ever seen New Girl? Like Winston's cat, it's like one of the exotic short hairs with like the smush face.
Uh-huh.
Like I was messaging a woman on WhatsApp and she was gonna bring it to my apartment because we got quarantined after like in preseason because we scrimmaged a team with a girl that was positive. So I think this was like day 8, like beginning of week 2, the worst part of quarantine. And I was like, I'm getting a cat. I was like, I need to get a cat. And I was like, what better time to get my dream cat than while I'm stuck in apartment in Germany. Like, let's just do it. And I'm glad I didn't. It would have been really difficult to find someone to cat sit, because now that I'm actually in season, like, we're gone a lot. But anyways, back to Animal Crossing. I almost got a Nintendo Switch. That was my next almost impulse buy, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, now I want to keep this fair. We haven't heard from Sinclaire yet. Sinclaire, first season with the NC Courage, you netted a massive amount of minutes this year, totaling, I believe, 7.
7, exactly.
Which I say that as a joke, but
No.
let's talk about your first season there. You were able to learn from some really great defensive players in Crystal Dunn and Abby Dahlkemper. Let's talk about that. I mean, go ahead, shoot for it. Shoot from the hip, kid.
I mean, yeah, kind of similar with Jenna. It's obviously hard to kind of switch from the college game to the pro game during a pandemic. I mean, probably some of the things that we would normally do, I didn't get to experience in the first season, like actually having a full season and not just a condensed 1-month bubble tournament. But yeah, I got to learn from a lot of really great and experienced players, like Abby Dahlkemper. She's a great teammate. She's a really good leader, and just wants to help younger players grow and learn. And Crystal Dunn, I just think she's an amazing player. She can literally do anything you ask of her to do. You want to put her in the midfield, she'll do it, and she'll kick everybody's butt. You want to put her on the outside, she's going to burn everybody. But she's just like such a great player to learn from, and someone that I look up to. And but yeah, I mean, first pro year, I mean, like you said, like I played a total of 7 minutes, but also it's like, if you kind of look at some of the players that are in front of me, I mean, I'm not beating them out every single day. But it's just a great opportunity and a great environment to learn from and grow and develop as a player. Soccer players, a lot of them don't even hit their peak until they're 26. So this is a really good time for me to learn and grow and develop. So I was really, really thankful for the opportunity. I'm excited to get back there for my second year.
It's got to be enriching, right? To have that leadership in front of you. It's got to be enriching. And I think that's probably the biggest thing to do right now. I think the problem with soccer, and it might not be a problem, but the thing with soccer is that there are really no substitutions. There might be, but you're not getting back in if you sub out. So it's hard to get any playing time.
I mean, normally the subbing rule is you can only have 3 subs the entire game. But I mean, with COVID this year, they made the exception. They allowed for 5. So there was more opportunities for younger players to get those needed experience minutes in games and everything like that. But you're right. I mean, it's hard. There's not timeouts. There's not anything like that. So you got to be in 90 minutes game shape, or 120 if you're going into overtime sometimes. So yeah, it's hard to get on the field, but that's a goal of mine to work towards, is being able to contribute in any way, shape, or form that I can with the team, whether that's coming off the bench, whether that's just being a good teammate, whether that's starting. Got to be prepared for all of it.
Right. So the other thing that I wanted to ask is with Crystal being traded to Portland, and then Jaylene Daniels retiring, what does it look like for you next year going into the season?
So actually towards the end of this year, I kind of have made a position switch. So I actually am more playing as a defensive center mid now, but I also still train as a center back. So I am able to learn both and, jump in if need be at either of those positions. But, I think it's going to be interesting. Those were 2 outstanding players that contributed a lot to the Courage's success over the past couple of years. And, they're not easily replaceable players, but I know that there are people on our team that, they've been training for a long time, waiting for this opportunity, and they're capable of filling those roles and making those roles their own as well. So I think it's going to be an interesting year for 2021, just filling in those roles. But I think that the people on our team are capable of stepping up and contributing in those roles.
Sinclaire, we talked over when your season was in about like where to find your games and stuff, because I was having a hard time finding them. Jenna, you could add this question. Does it upset you guys that people claim that no one cares about women's sports, but like then you have to pay more and get bundles and et cetera, just to watch women's sports?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, I mean it's for sure frustrating when everybody's like, well, no one will watch it, but then it's like, but if you look at some of the numbers for the NWSL, I think they were up 400%, 500% on viewership from last year, and we had a shortened condensed season. And it's because they finally got a contract with a major broadcasting network in CBS. And granted, they only showed, I think, a total of 8 games on big CBS, but the numbers were doing better than the MLS, and it sometimes even American viewership of the English Premier League. I know a bunch of the games are streamed through a paywall with CBS All Access, which again, we're still thankful for, that our fans have something consistent that they can view on. But again, if you put women's sports in an accessible place on network television, the fans will show up and they will support and they will view it. And I think that's something that a lot of people are starting to realize now. And so going forward, I hope that there are more games of the NWSL on big CBS, not just only on CBS All Access, because I think CBS has an opportunity to grow their brand by showcasing women's sports and allowing that to grow.
Yeah, I feel like to add on to that, I don't know if I spoke about it in the last podcast, but like my junior year, our national championship against Nebraska, like 2 historically great colleges, like for volleyball, facing off, ended up being 5-set, like huge game. And we got bumped to ESPN2 for, I wish I could even remember what bowl game it was. I don't know. Like it wasn't a big
really low
game.
bowl game.
The
really
Cheez-It Bowl?
really
The
low.
Cheez-It Bowl?
I mean, honestly, Cheez-Its, I'd be less offended. Like it wasn't even Cheez-Its. It wasn't even a good brand. But so we got bumped, and I was complaining to one of my guy friends about it, and he was like, well, I bet either way it got more views. And I was like, I bet it didn't. And so I spent like an hour like looking for like the viewership numbers on it and everything, and it was almost exactly the same amount of views, except we were on ESPN2. And I'm like, if we were on just regular ESPN, we would have had more, and it would have helped our sport so much more. And the other argument too was like, I mean, ESPN, just put women's sport like ahead of it. And if we're that close, like do it to grow our sport. And so I think that's the biggest frustration for me. And also the fact that just being able to watch it will grow your appreciation for it. Like the more you understand a sport, the more you're going to want to watch it, and the more you're not going to think that it's easy and simple. Like I think about track and field. If you watch javelin, you're like, oh, you're just throwing a stick, you know? And after doing it, then like, and also being around the other events. Like I think about cross country. Like I was like, oh, you run for a long time, you suffer for a long time. There's so many tactics behind it. And I would get then like so much more nervous watching our Stanford runners go, because you understand, you appreciate it. And now I will watch track meets and I'll watch all the events. And before I would only probably watch sprints and the ones that were popular and available to us. So I think that's a big part of all of it, is like the more available it is, the more people will realize that it's good. Like if you don't watch it, you can't shit on it. Like that's not fair. You don't understand it. You don't know how hard it is.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add on to that. Like I think about my own viewership of sports, right? And I, as a kid, didn't like baseball at all. But as I grew up and I got to watch more baseball, understand the game at a greater level, it's now my favorite sport. And it's one that I can't live without. So I think like,
hence his background.
Yeah, all the Cub stuff. But so when I think about what you're saying, Jenna, if you put it out there, people gain the appreciation. I think that's exactly what it is. Like so many people have this concept built up in their minds that like, oh, women's sports are slower, or they're worse, or they're this, or they're that. And it's not the case. If you watch, I mean, volleyball in and of itself, and soccer too, Sinclair, like you guys, just in talking about the first season of your professional careers, are talking about, you know, it slows down, but or rather it speeds up the game speeds up and there's not these players and there's not this and that, whatever it might be, right? Like all these finite details, I wouldn't know that. I don't know that because I don't have the opportunity to watch you guys on a consistent basis. And I think that's really troubling. And if they put it in front of people, people will watch. How mindless are Americans when it comes to consuming media? You know what I mean? And not that you need to be mindless to consume women's sports, but like if you put it on, people will watch.
If you put it on, they will come.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on top of that, people say women's soccer is more fun to watch than men's. I've heard that all the time.
I hear it a lot too.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. But the biggest thing that I was thinking about yesterday when I was thinking of questions is you never see promotions for, say, the WNBA finals, like any of the biggest events for women's sports. You never see any commercial. I think I saw probably one for the NWSL. And other than that, you don't see anything. It doesn't make any sense. If they're going to be on, let people know.
For the 2019 WNBA finals, I went through social media for SportsCenter and ESPN to figure out how many posts there were to congratulate the Washington Mystics on winning the WNBA championship. There was one.
Last year's? For last year's?
When the Mystics won.
Oh, was it 2019?
So that would have been 2018-19.
2019.
There was one post in comparison to the NBA finals that year where there were multiple posts every single night. Like it's that kind of stuff too. Now when I'm thinking about viewership and increasing that and getting the conversation around women's sports moving, I think about the AU and what they were able to do with softball this year, which I thought was a really cool concept. And now they're getting ready to do the same thing with volleyball in Nashville. Jenna, obviously you have a contract in Germany, but have you put thought into maybe in the off season doing something with the AU?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult because at least the German league, we go until April. So it's during that time, but it's a really great option for the girls that are in like China and Japan because their seasons finished up. China actually ended theirs early, so they're done now. Japan is done like January or February. And I really wish that there was like a US league, and it's insane that there isn't one for volleyball. And I know in discussions that I've had, it's because college sports are so big and there is nothing like college volleyball or just the NCAA out in Europe or anywhere else. So I get that, but it would be a really nice option. And I'm excited that there are people taking steps for that. They have a lot of really big names that are going to be in it. I know it's a little bit different of a setup. So it's pretty short season. There's no coaches. The teams change every week. There's a point system, like the MVP of the matches are, then they pick teams for the next week. So I think that's really interesting and I'm excited to watch it all. But I guess for some of the younger players, like doing professional volleyball, it's a hard option for us because we need international experience. And right now they have a lot of the national team veterans and stuff that, and also like it's really hard for like setters and liberos to get a contract in Japan or China because they have a limit of, I think they only get one foreigner per team and they usually take hitters. So there's a lot that goes into it. I would love to play in the US at some point. But for me right now, I kind of have to put in my time overseas. So
Right. Well, and I think we talked about it in the first podcast we did with you, Jenna, where it kind of sucks that you have to go overseas just to get that experience at the professional level. Sinclaire, I think you're lucky enough to be able to play a sport where in America there is a successful league. But I don't know why there isn't that for all women's sports, and that is concerning. But let's maybe pivot for a second because this is going to be one of our more fun interviews.
Too serious?
Well, it's important that we talk about this stuff. I think we all know that, but we have two very eclectic people together at the same time. Maybe we can even say we have four very eclectic people together all at one time, and it's important that we have some fun here too. So I'll start with this. when we interviewed Sinclaire for episode 98, which she reminded us before the episode started.
I need to check.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. Is she
I
even
was on
right?
98. She is. She's on episode 98. She's right.
I
Jenna
actually
was
guessed.
and Jenna would have been 96 at that point.
Mhm.
She's
but when
right.
we-
Holy crap.
But when we talked on episode 98, Sinclaire brought up the mummy game. And the mummy game essentially is when they would strap Sinclaire down to an air mattress with duct tape or other adhesive objects and leave only room for her mouth.
Oh, that was good.
And at that point, they would shove different food objects into her mouth and force her to guess what those things were. And eventually she'd be shoved down the stairs, surfboard style.
Yep.
Tell me why Jenna's face looks like she's so proud that she did that.
I mean, it is, first of all, also air mattress is like very generous. I think it was like one of like a tumbly mat. Like
Whatever those like small pads you put under your sleeping bag in camping. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like this thick.
I'm aware. I thought we were
also-
talking about like a maybe a nice air mattress
No.
that you might bring to your
No.
Okay.
no.
Absolutely
They
not.
put her on a boogie board.
Air mattress would have been too much noise to blow up, and then her parents would have been like, "What's going on?" First of all, let me say it was not just me. It was two other friends and then Sinclaire. And to be honest, I really don't. I don't even know who came up with it, why we did it. But I always like would tell my friends in college that like grew up in California, and they would just like always go to the beach. Like, and whenever I was like, I'm from Kansas, like we had to get creative. Like you
Right.
you
We
had
would
to be-
surf on our friends.
And we can't find the picture, but like it slightly alarming now looking back on it. We would draw like eyebrows on it. Like it was really sketchy. And really, I only remember doing the goldfish with
the pepper.
With the pepper flakes.
The red pepper flakes, yeah. That's the only one I can remember too. I feel like before that it was pretty like it was pretty
probably
tame.
nice.
Like
It
it was like
nice.
fruit. It was like fruit snacks.
Yeah, and then that was the grand finale before the big push was
Yeah,
the pepper
can I-
flakes and the goldfish.
Well, let me
Yeah.
just ask, why push her down the stairs on top of feeding her a goldfish with red pepper flakes inside of it? Like, what was the? They're like,
I think I guessed wrong.
And
think I
now
guessed
we
wrong.
shove her down the stairs.
Oh, yeah, I
Wrong.
think it was. I really think that actually makes sense. I think it was a guessing game. And
Yeah, I
if
think
she
I
got
guessed
it
wrong.
Then she got
Ejected.
slid down the stairs. Slid down the
Ejectocito,
stairs.
cuz.
I'm just trying to figure out what fraternity this is.
It was
Oh,
it was her
actually,
initiation into the Thick Boys Club.
well, actually, I mean, I guess I'm kind of breaking the code on this, but Jenna and our two other friends, we did have a secret society as kids.
Oh,
Wow, she's
Okay.
in two societies, Sauce.
is this
We-
conflict
we-
of interest?
No, actually, like,
I will say I wasn't a part of the secret society because I didn't live
You
in
got a bid.
your
You got a
neighborhood.
bid.
I got a like a
Great.
visitor.
You got a bid. She was like an
Alright, I didn't
honorary
live-
member.
I didn't live
but
on
then-
the corner with him. It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to. So our friend, whose like house the four of us would all hang out at, she had a walk-in closet, and that's where we would host our meetings.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Now we're here.
No, like it was
Someone
like
had to go.
no, we had ID cards and everything that we would make, and it'd be like, okay, is everybody here for the meeting? Roll call, and there's like it's four of us.
What
Like,
was
we
the
were-
society about? Was there a pointed topic? Was it
Were
like
those laminated IDs?
the prankers club or the
I don't think we
She-Man
laminated
women
them,
hating
but-
club or no,
I,
the
like-
He-Man women hating?
Can I say it? Am I like breaking the law? Because like our law was we couldn't tell anyone about the society.
No, we won't hold this one against you.
Well,
It's the Illuminati,
it was
isn't
like,
it?
well, no, it was
Is
just
this
like
the
alarming.
Illuminati?
It was alarming because the acronym for it was SAC, so it was the SAC Club,
Yes.
and like our older siblings were like, why are you in something called the Sack Club? And but what it was Kelsey and Addie, if you're listening, I'm sorry I'm exposing the society, but it was the Stuffed Animal Club is what it was. And we would just like, I don't know, it was like in our phase where we all loved stuffed animals a lot. And
it was like the Build-A-Bear phase, right?
Yeah, it was like Build-A-Bear phase. So we would have our secret society that took place
I feel
in
like
this girl's closet.
Everyone's like, oh, that's cute, like for little girls, like with their stuffed animals. But like we were, besides Kelsey, like all like little boys. And what was it? Like if you like farted, like everyone would cheer and call you, and you were like the overachiever of the club. Like that was one of our rules. That if you farted,
it was like stop overachieving.
For the day.
Wow, I'd have been the leader.
Farting was currency. Farting was currency.
And it's just like surprising that like Jenna was not the one who overachieved the most. And like Jenna would like purposely fart on purpose, like because she thought it was funny.
Farts. I'm 22 years old. Farts are still hilarious to me. They will never not be funny.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A good fart in a silent room is always a good way to break up the silence.
The tension.
Yeah, the tension. Yeah. The other thing that was consistent between the two interviews was the mention of shake and bake. The team that never got the ring, right? I think, you know, much like Stockton and Malone in the 90s, you guys never got the ring that you deserved. Maybe we can bring closure to that here now.
Reminiscing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a virtual ping pong tournament.
We should. They don't have ping pong on like the iPhone games. It's beer pong. Never mind. I was thinking we could get that going.
Well, I guess we could settle for beer pong. That's fine.
Yeah,
Sinclaire,
we'll let you guys win.
Big beer gal.
Big beer gal. Oh man.
I guess the closure is, I think we've done all right in the sports realm following our disappointing performance in 8th grade. So it's a tough pill to swallow, but I say it's time to close the middle school yearbook.
A 30 for 30 classic. This summer.
What if I told you? What if I told you?
Two losers would end up being professional athletes.
Well, Jenna, I actually told them when they were like asking me beforehand, like some good stories. And I was like, well, there is actually another sport that Jenna and I did where we did have success in 8th grade intramurals. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Flag football.
Flag football, baby. And so that was our first try at intramurals in 8th grade. We had a female flag football team.
We call that powder puff where I'm from.
No, this was flag football for sure. Powder puff, I feel like you tackle a little bit.
Yeah, all of the hatred from high school is taken out in the powder puff game.
I wasn't allowed to play in those. We had those in high school, and they were like, anyone on a varsity team, you can't play it because it would get so aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in our flag football team, I was the quarterback and Jenna was the star receiver. And Jenna would write things on her hands to like like not intimidate the other team, but just kind of be like this flashy kid that was just funny.
You ugly.
So
she had the little mustache right here.
We actually did do that a lot in 8th grade. I'm not gonna lie. We did.
What was it? It was like
I actually looked at the pictures when I was looking for the ping pong one. It was
She's
like, when you were it was I'm open. Right
That's
there
awesome.
on her hands. And then when you were playing defense, you put on the back of your hands, you put no way. So then like when you were blocking the ball.
That's so stupid.
Jenna just knows this is so on brand for how she was as a child. This is what I'm talking about when I said that Jenna was a mischievous kid as a child. This is completely on brand for her.
I was also the kid that took like PE class like way too seriously. Like just tried so hard, was so sweaty, would always accidentally like hit kids in the face and dodgeball. What was it? We had we had our like, I don't even know, like our reunion when we were going to college. at our elementary school, and we were like, hey guys, let's play like kickball like one last time. And we're like, all right guys, are pegs allowed? And they're like, yeah, just remember everyone, like below the shoulders. First
They
ball
said
I
our
throw,
pegs allowed.
first throw, nailed a kid in the face. I was like, God, some things never change. I was like, all right, my bad.
They
Well,
said
okay,
pegs are
also-
allowed, and Jenna's eyes lit up red. She was like, let's go.
Well, keep in mind, so when Jenna was in elementary school, and again, like we took sports way too seriously. Like we were bound and determined we were gonna be the best athletes in elementary school. Jenna would be in dodgeball. She'd still be hitting kids in the face at age 11 and 12 and would knock their earrings out. Like that's how hard she was hitting them.
Damn. Spits flying.
Yes.
Very COVID unfriendly.
Slow-mos.
Oh,
Slow-mo.
very COVID unfriendly. But like that's just how Jenna was like as a kid. Like the girl had unreal arm strength for 11.
Well, then we
It's the
finally figured
shoulders.
out.
We-
Yep, it's the shoulder. I have a cannon on me.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the family allegedly has good shoulder genes, is what we discovered in Jenna's first episode.
Mhm.
All right. So in Germany, have you come across anybody who looks like Fran from the movie Dodgeball?
No, I haven't. There has been times though where like
Boy or
in
girl?
preseason we also had some scrimmages. We had some scrimmages in like Poland and stuff, and like I'm playing against like 30-year-olds, like mid 30s, like 30, and like there's some girls, I mean women. There are some women that I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, you, oh my
You've
God,
seen
are like
some
a decade
shit.
older than me. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. I'm like, you've been playing in like the Polish league for 10 years. I'm like, I do not want to mess with you. You also are like 6'7". I'm like, I want none of that. I'm scared. Like I'm back to but no, everyone, and that's the thing is everyone's super friendly though and
Okay.
really nice. We haven't had any run-ins yet.
No friends yet. That's good.
Yet. Yeah.
Jenna, what's something they do in Germany where you're like, oh, they do that?
I feel like I have these moments every day, you know, when there's like so many things that happen that you just like can't think of it off the top of your head.
Or like, what's something that we do that they were like, why are you doing that?
Do the toilets flush the other way?
That's Australia.
The only hard thing for me is like we don't have a dryer or like a dishwasher, and there's a lot of, and like I drive 6 shifts, so I think there's a lot of things that I'm used to just like having and getting done for me. Also the mail system, like they're on bikes, like these people are biking your mail to you, and I'm used to like Amazon
quads.
one day.
They're in the
on
old
your-
country, baby.
on your porch. Yeah, so like there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, like I feel like such an American where I'm like, it's so much effort.
And then you look at
I'm
their
just
quads and you're like, yeah, I wish I had those legs.
like, they're, oh my gosh, that's the other thing. Like especially the area where I live, there's a lot of old people, and I mean, it's impressive. They're on bikes, like they are so active still, and they have a real big staring problem. They stare all the time. Like the first week that we were out of quarantine, we'd go on walks and like staring, like like really just they'll stand and like you'll make eye contact and they won't break it, and you're like, and I was like, how do they know? How do they know I'm American? I'm like, is it that obvious? I wasn't even like speaking English. I'm like, I look German. I'm like, I blend in.
Right. You got
And
the blonde hair going.
so
That's
I
big
finally,
over there, allegedly.
I finally asked some of my teammates, I'm like, all right, I'm getting stared at. Like, is there a reason? And they were like, no, German people just stare more. And I was like,
Oh,
so I'm trying to get better at just like, I don't like it. Like in the US, even when you look over and like make eye contact with someone like in the other car, like I break it so quickly. So my goal, I have like 4.5 more months left to just be okay with just, I
Staring.
want to make the old people break eye contact. That's my goal. That is my goal.
there you go. There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. We've also seen Sarah Fuller which is a tremendous story. She became the kicker for the Vanderbilt football team for a couple of weeks. Now, Sinclaire, over in North Carolina, they do have a pretty good kicker in Joey Sly, but do you think you could challenge him for his spot on the Panthers roster?
That's a very good question. I don't know about that because I mean Joey's been doing this for a while, so it's hard to beat someone who's consistent. In considering I have not never, but like probably less than a handful of times I've actually tried to kick a football through the uprights. I've kicked soccer balls through the uprights, and I can do that. But I just feel like the shape of the ball is different, so I feel like there might be a little bit of technique that's different.
That is true. The shape of the ball is very different.
The shape is very different, and so I think I would have to practice a bit before I could be like, "Yo, Sly, let's have a competition for the spot."
Yo, Sly, dude.
Yo, Sly.
America's favorite drug dealer, Joey Sly.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some practice first.
Sinclaire, can you just do me a solid real quick and just explain to the ignorant people out there that wished ill upon Sarah Fuller, and explain how big of an impact of her playing on Vanderbilt was, how big that was for women?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, she's like my hero now. I just think she's incredible. But like you look at college football teams, and actually Nebraska kind of went through a similar thing last year with they like didn't have any kickers, and so they had to go recruit from the men's club soccer team at Nebraska to get a kicker for the rest of the year. And it was funny because he was our practice player for the women's team, so like we all knew who he was. Like he did great, like super happy for him. But it just kind of goes to show that when your big moneymaker sport needs help, it's like women are just as capable as helping out these big sports, and she's a goalkeeper, so she has a lot of experience with kicking, especially like with goal kicks and everything like that. But I kept seeing a bunch of tweets about things where it's like, even if she never got to kick an actual field goal, that the amount of people, an amount of like young girls who wanted to watch the football game just to get the chance to see her do something incredible, like something that they'd never seen before, because football is a male dominated sport, obviously.
Yeah.
I just kept seeing tweets about that, and I just thought that was so inspiring that there's little girls that are like, oh, I want to watch football now. And I see a girl kicking for a college football, like a Power 5 college football team. Like, why can I not do that someday? And I think this kind of goes back to talking about accessibility for watching women's sports or seeing women competing in sports. It helps pave that pathway for young athletes to, if you can see it, you can do it. And I just think that what she did was incredible. That's a tough thing to kind of take on, that responsibility, because I mean, it's sad to see like the troll comments from afterwards,
the
like
same
that,
ones over and over again.
the same ones over and over again. And
like the people who were wishing like physical violence on her, like they're like,
why?
I hope that somebody runs her over on a kickoff return or something like that.
And I'm just like,
that's weird. That's
or the worst one where they're like, so do they not slap her ass?
Yeah, I'm like, why do you have a Twitter account? Like, I'm just like, you
have 2 followers. No one cares.
You need to go away. You need to go away.
The idea that that's the first thing that comes to their mind, they're going to be like, well, how are they going to congratulate her?
I'm like,
you have to slap her on the ass.
Like everybody. I saw so many people like tapping her on the helmet, just like another teammate. Yes. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And
how about a fist bump, a high five, shake her hand?
So many other options.
Chest bump.
Like
you got shoulder pads on.
Elbow taps because COVID,
Right.
Like,
double elbow taps because you're good friends.
Air five. Just don't even touch.
Yeah. Like a thumbs up. Like
say
it's so
good
simple.
job.
Yeah.
Say you look lovely today. That helmet makes your hair look great.
But yeah, and I think there was just also, there was other statements that came out, and afterwards, like she was talking about how, you know, like it's important to be a member of the team no matter what your role is, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is, whether you play, whether you don't. And she was talking about how, you know, like on soccer teams, like they are like cheering all the time for their teammates or like helping them, giving them information. And she was talking about how in her first game, like the guys weren't doing that to like help their teammates. And she was like, guys, like we can be doing so much more, like to help each other out. Like this is a stressful game. So it's like, you got to have people that believe in you. And if you can't show that, then that just makes it harder for the people that are on the field. And so I think, you know, the things that she was doing is incredible. And I think she's an inspiration for a lot of young girls. And I know that there's so many young girls that are looking at her and being like, I can play football too. Like I can be a kicker. I could be a punter, like all these different things. Heck, I could be a wide receiver maybe if I wanted to. But I just think it's incredible. And I think it's such an awesome story. And, you know, in a year of 2020, that was just a lot of, I think that was just such like a bright story. And I mean, I think Jenna would agree with this, you know, being in professional sports now, I think you just come to like appreciate and respect all female athletes in other sports for what they're doing, because it's a tough world. And I think that, you know, Sarah Fuller is going to be an inspiration for a lot of young girls in the next generation.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. That's it. That's all I got. Go ahead, Cub.
Mm-hmm.
There's the last time I saw this commercial, it was when I was watching the AU softball, but it's a commercial saying like the statistics of like women stop playing sports at like 14. I forgot the numbers, but it was like going off that. And I kept thinking about when Sarah got her opportunity, like women, there's a lot of young girls out there that don't have like their favorite athlete is not a woman. Like there's not many sports figures that they can look up to because there's no exposure to them because like we talked about before, they're not aired. The sports aren't aired. So like this was bigger than people could really comprehend. Like those ignorant comments just go to show you don't know what the hell you're even talking about.
Yep.
Like even if it was a designed squib kick, none of those little girls gave a shit.
Right.
They just wanted to see a girl who they are, someone like them, play a sport that a girl has basically never played before.
100%.
And it was an awesome moment.
It was
a hell of a squib kick too. That's all I gotta say.
It was
perfection.
I hate to break up the seriousness of this yet again. That seems my role today is to break up the seriousness.
How odd.
How bizarre. Bizarre. So, Jenna, there was a time where Odell Beckham Jr. was interviewed by a Spanish reporter, and he started off by asking the question in Spanish. And Odell gave him somewhat of an odd look, and then the reporter asked the same question but in English. Have you had that moment yet where they start their question in German, and you're like,
That's me every day at the grocery store. Like
okay.
Like sorry, I'm not even a reporter. It's just like usually I try to nod and like figure out if they're asking a question or just like saying something to me. And I'll just like nod and smile until I hit the wall of like, oh, they need an answer out of me. And then I'll be like, I should have gone like
squirrel.
English.
Squirrel.
The F word.
Fucking squirrel.
I'll have a translator too. Or like if we're doing an interview, like we'll have someone on our staff or like one of the girls translate for me. There was one interview. It was hilarious. He was calling me Jennifer the whole time, and like it was pretty broken like English. I had a hard time understanding, and it was basically just all about Trump. And that was actually the only time I've been interviewed after a game, was just during
and
the
it was
election.
political questions.
It was political questions, calling me Jennifer, asking nothing about volleyball. I was like,
I gotta go.
I was like, good.
Squirrel.
Good.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
All right. It is our Christmas special, and so I feel like we should wrap up this interview, or I guess this roundtable discussion, really, with Christmas questions. So I'll start off with the hard hitter. Who ruined Santa Claus for you?
I'm the youngest in my family. I don't even I was so young. I don't even remember who ruined it for me. Like I feel like probably my sister. Like that's the bummer of being the youngest is Christmas loses its magic a little bit earlier because everyone else is over it. I don't remember. I would say, but my best guess is my sister. She probably got.
Do you remember how old you were, or around how old you were?
I mean, I would say like 6 or 7, and I bet my sister was mad at me and was like, "Well, Santa isn't real," and I would be like,
"Oh yeah? Well, guess what? That guy with that beard ain't real. It's mom and dad."
That's it. I'll say it.
You know what? I'll say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Precisely. Nice.
Yeah, I'd say something similar, and if it wasn't my sister that ruined it, it was probably Jenna.
Sinclair's 12 years old. Jenna's like, you know what?
I'm pretty sure like Jenna probably found out and was like, Sinclair, did you know that Santa isn't real? And I was like, what?
The power dynamic of this friendship really is concerning to me because it feels like Sinclair's on the brunt of most everything.
Oh, I am. It's okay. we laugh about it now. I told you guys, Jenna was a mischievous kid, and I would just go along with it.
Diabolical, even.
Diabolical.
Creative.
She's toned down.
Creative.
A bit.
Imaginative.
Cobb, I'll let you answer the question too.
I'm the oldest, so I think I had a friend tell me, and I was like, huh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't sad or anything. I think I was like 9, 10. I don't remember.
I think I was 12. So I am the most innocent of us all. I believe I was 12. I also am the oldest. And my dad basically was like, shut the fuck up. He's not real.
But Dad, Santa, you gotta be
Which
nice.
is a great explanation for could be a great explanation for why I am so abrasive and mean.
Wait. Now I have a question for you, Sauce. I have a question for you. The tables have turned. Does your little sister know he doesn't exist either, or did you ruin that for her at a younger age?
No, she is fully believer. She's a full believer.
Aww.
Good.
She is a Scientologist with Santa Claus. Next up, what's the worst gift you've ever received? And I can start because I know for me, it was a can of green beans. And I received that. Now, I should note that it's the worst gift you've ever received in general. It could be for birthday, for whatever. I received for like I want to say my 7th birthday, a can of green beans. Because at the time, I did not like green beans, and my godmother thought that was the right thing to do. Again, another example for possibly why I am so harsh.
Things are adding up.
Beans.
Oh, this is hard.
I'll go.
I guess.
Okay,
yeah, you go.
I'll go. I think I was like 12, and one of my mom's friends bought me a keychain. Where am I gonna put that?
From where? On your keys, but from where?
It was just like this stupid. It was like a clock keychain. What was I gonna put it on my hip? I don't have keys. I'm 12.
That's true. That is true.
That's true.
That is true. I don't know where you put it.
There was like 3 or 4 Christmases in a row where like my dad would just always get us like hairbrushes, like flashlights, socks, and we were like, what?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, we're like, why this? We're like, why this? And
Merry Christmas.
Now that I'm older, yeah, this is my Christmas present. Now that I'm older, like, to be honest, those sound great. Like, I lose my hairbrushes all the time. They break. I need socks. I always need socks now that I'm like going through 2 or 3 pairs a day for practice. I'm like, sounds like a great present. I should have held on to them. But when you're like 8, you're like,
I don't want socks.
You're like, I wanted a Barbie doll. I wanted a Bratz doll. Why am I getting another hairbrush?
The Bratz
and
dolls.
now the hairbrush. It was because my sister and I would use my dad sometimes. I don't know why. We just thought it was funny to use his, and he would find like blonde hairs, and he was like, knock it off. So like, we would just get us a hairbrush for Christmas like every year, and we'd be so pissed.
Take it away, Sinclair.
This is a hard question. I like can't think. I know like one time I think it was in like a white elephant, I got a brass duck head.
Do you still have said brass duck head?
No, I think I regifted it.
Ooh, smart.
But
big brain.
Fat.
But it was like wrapped in newspaper, and I was like, this was I should have known.
This was thrifty.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cub, do you have any other Christmas related questions? I feel like I should have come up with more, but these were the two that came to me.
I just have a super basic one since COVID's going on. What are you guys doing for Christmas?
I will
Just
be...
in general, what you doing?
Hey,
What you doing?
what are you guys doing
What
after
it
this?
is.
Mhm.
You want to get a cup of coffee?
Yeah, fly on out to Germany, get your work permit. You can come on out. I'll be in practice. We have a double day because we have a game on the 27th.
They don't believe in
So-
Christmas.
They
Krampus.
Krampus, they take the 24th way, like they celebrate that way more. So we have only one practice on Christmas Eve.
A day off.
And yeah, so we're trying to figure out what to do because we're kind of lazy and don't want to make like a full Christmas meal, but we want to do something nice. So we're thinking like
Lunchables.
a nice breakfast. A nice like breakfast for dinner. Like I think my favorite part of Christmas Day is like the cinnamon rolls and everything in the morning, like before or after you open presents. So I think we're gonna do that, but I will be playing volleyball. But part of me is like, it's nice to just be busy because sometimes you almost don't want it to feel like Christmas or like a holiday. Like Thanksgiving, it didn't really feel like Thanksgiving, but it makes it a little bit easier because you're not just like sitting alone feeling sad.
Right.
I will just be doing a small Christmas gathering with my immediate family who I already live with now, so have just been in the same bubble the whole time. But normally on Christmas Eve we have a Christmas bowl off, so we go bowling and we see who can bowl the best. But I don't think we're gonna do that this year, and I think we might actually swap it out for a ping pong tournament at our house.
Wow, no invite.
So Jenna, if you want to
The return of Shake and Bake.
We can revive Shake and Bake.
The return of
You're
Shake
making
and Bake.
You're making me even more sad about being out
I'm
here
sorry.
for Christmas. I'm missing the
I'm
ping
sorry.
pong. Anything else, didn't care. The ping pong.
I'm sorry.
It hit her right in the heart. All right, my last question, and it's a quick one. Sinclair, how do you spell Sinky? Because Cub and I debated on this for a little bit. Because really, if you spell it how we spell it, it does kind of look like Cincy, which, you know.
Yeah, I know. So I feel like, because like normally people just call me Sink, so it's Sinc. But then when you go to Sinky, I feel like you have to switch it to a K. At least that's like whenever people call me Sinky and they text it to me, they put it with a K, and I'm just like, yeah, that's fine because that makes more sense.
Could we do CIE, or that would still be Cincy?
Cincy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Putting this in the archives.
I think SINKY. We'll go with
Maybe
that.
just capitalize the C. Draw attention to it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap up, and this has been a ton of fun. Thank you guys for coming on and joining us again. We of course can't thank you enough. But this has been the Christmas special for even though it wasn't very festive. Regardless, this has been the Christmas special for the Missed Call Podcast. Jenna Gray, Sinclair Miramontez, thank you so much for showing up again, putting up with our bullshit. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us. Yeah.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah.